Hey there, everybody. It's Aluna Michaels, Esoteric Astrologer, and I'm going to talk to you about the events of December 2015 from a esoteric/spiritual perspective. And before I forget, too, I should mention that, because I'll probably forget at the end, that I do have gift certificates available for holiday presents. If you're interested, you could contact me through my website, alunamichaels.com, or send me a little note on YouTube if you want. And what else did I want to say? Oh yeah, I also have my ebook that I always forget to mention that too. It's on my website, which is The Spiritual Gifts of the 12 Astrological Signs. Okay, that's taken care of. Now, let's talk about December because it's a little bit bumpy, mostly due to the fact that, we've gone through all this eclipse Mars stuff I've been talking to you about for the past few months, and but the planet Uranus is going to go forward. Now, the outer planets like Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto will go retrograde once a year and then direct once a year, as opposed to Mercury, which will do it 3 times or 4 times sometimes during 1 year. But so it's just one time it will go forward. So when Uranus is sitting still, it does it for a while. And Uranus is a planet of bumpiness and shifts and changes and twists and turns, and some tension. So the planet is actually going direct on Christmas night, like the 25th at night. So it can create a sense of tension with people. And remember, even if you're on a spiritual path and you're saying, okay, I'm aware that these planets are moving, other people are just feeling kind of tense. Underneath that Uranus going direct, especially because it's in Aries, it's like, I want to be new. And especially it's coming at the edge of the new year. I really want my brain to be new, my entire self to be renewed, and to radically break from things. So that's kind of the energy behind it, but then people can take that out, like if they are wanting to change things about themselves, kind of like they're frustrated internally and be like, you're causing me the problem, or this job, or this family, or So people can feel kind of tense, but underneath it is like, I want to be different, completely free from things that hold me back. And so going into the new year, it's a great fresh energy. But as we're going into December, it's like all those ways that I don't like that I'm stuck, and that Uranus shows you where you're trapped, because Uranus is the planet of that liberation and that breaking free. But it's also that tension, like I'm trapped tension, when it's sitting still like it is. So just so you know that. And then we've got the planet Mars and Mercury making contacts to that stuck Uranus. And Mars, is direction, but it can be anger, and Mercury is thinking and stuff, but it can also be angry if it's frustrated with, in Uranus, it could be just like saying stuff you don't mean or doing stuff you don't mean with Mars. So Mars is opposite Uranus on the 11th, and Mercury squares Uranus on the 19th. So between the 11th and 19th, there's a bunch of different things going on there. And I want to actually start it earlier because Mars and Mercury are also doing stuff with the planet Pluto, which is more of a slow burn. And then, you go into the Uranus with bah! So being aware that people are extra tense, and for yourself being observing, okay, what is going on here with me? And especially seeing that the person might not be doing it to you, but it's how you're interpreting that person's behavior, or how you have a pattern and you've attracted another person like this, or you've allowed the cycle to go on with this person. So just that sense of observing can help as you go into that, the 7th to the 19th there, with these different Mars and Mercury setting off these outer planets, Uranus and Pluto. The other thing is that on the 19th, I think, I have my glass on here. Oh, on the 11th, it's at 19 degrees. On the 11th, we have a full moon in Sagittarius. And that full moon is actually connecting really great with the planet Uranus. So there's this sense of, and full moons are about completion. What am I ready to release? So instead of me feeling super frustrated, it's like, okay, I'm ready to release that. I'm ready to release that pattern with that person. Maybe I'm ready to release that relationship with that person. I'm ready to release this aspect of myself that needs to go, or that needs to be transformed and refreshed, Uranus. And asking for insights That's a great thing when Uranus is sitting still like that. It's like, what idea needs to come to me? What piece of information do I need to that acts as the key to open the door to free me from that little prison that I'm in, that I feel stuck in, that used to seem big. You walk into this room and it's like, wow, this is a great big room. And now it's like, oh, now I'm feeling like it's small because I'm ready for more, So Uranus takes you out of the smaller room into the bigger room. And then eventually you go out of that bigger room because that room will seem small, right? So the full moon in Sag is like, yeah, what's new for me? I'm sensing what's new. I'm sensing how to get to the new and know that there is something on the other side of all of this. So that can be a really great little pick-me-up during that 7th to the 19th. And if you're into the degrees, it is at 19 degrees of Sagittarius that happens. The other thing that is very cool is at the end of the month, what's really nice is that Venus is going into Scorpio, which is much more soothing, kind of quiet energy, sort of still waters run deep kind of thing. And Venus, the planet of love and connection, is going to make really good angles. It'll make a sextile to Pluto on the 17th and a sextile to Jupiter on the 24th. So underneath, it's like if you can be focusing on unconditional love and that every person is striving to be happy or be fulfilled. They might not know how to get that, and they might perceive you're in the way of that, even if it's their own karma or their own way of moving through the world or whatever, their own perception of something. But being able to project love toward people at that time with those Venus transits can help overcome that tension. And also love towards yourself, that you could be frustrated with yourself and go, oh, every year I'm thinking at the end of the year I want to overcome this thing or whatever. That having that sort of still, quiet, deep presence of Venus in Scorpio saying, I have compassion for my own self, that I'm struggling with this and I'm yet again releasing another layer of this or whatever. So that can be a nice way to work with things when it gets a little tense. So we've got that Venus in there. And it can also be, a lot of stuff can be family things, obviously, because that time of year. Even about money, Venus can also be, the Venus in Scorpio can show you ways to deal better with your finances, and maybe even like shopping addiction type stuff or things like that. What do I really need? And maybe even talking to your spouse or family about with gifts and stuff. Like, do we really want gifts? Would we rather just be present with each other instead of having the stress of shopping and getting things, oh, I like it, and you don't really like it because you don't really have that deep relationship with the person, even within their family. You might be open a door to talk to people about that and say, let's just be together without all that shopping stress or giving gifts that may or may not get returned or feeling obligated to one another about money, but really these gifts of the heart. So that could be a nice approach too, even before Christmas, to talk about that. And let's see, what else? One of the things just to mention, if you're watching this at the beginning of the month, that people have been like, what is going on? Oh my God. Saturn has been squaring Neptune, and Neptune it was right at Thanksgiving. Neptune was sitting still and went forward finally, and Neptune is like, what's going on? When it's retrograde, it's like kind of like a long Mercury retrograde. Like, I'm not clear, Neptune's like foggy and stuff. And Saturn can make you feel like, straight up and fly right, or just frustrated with that sense of foggy, or not knowing how to create a structure because it's been foggy. So it's a weird thing. There can be also like, oh my God, I'll never get my stuff together, kind of nervousness, and that starts to dissipate, and you probably start to feel more, your feet are on solid ground from that stuff. And then coming out of that is like, I really want to make that plan so I don't waste time, or I'm not inefficient. And that's where that Uranus wants to make that plan to make life seem more streamlined, So just watching that you don't just come out of that Saturn Neptune and then just get back on yourself and, beat yourself up or whatever. And that's why it's good that that Venus is there saying, it's okay, we're going to make it. So, and the bottom line too, if you're into the New Year's resolutions, that Uranus going direct is really great for that, about how can I be new and fresh, and and what do I really, really want? What makes me really happy? What's a real goal that I have? And anything's possible, and finding out how do I create that possibility. I've been reading a lot about quantum physics and physical and mental health, or creating different thoughts out of the quantum field, and maybe even we have The Secret and the Law of Attraction, stuff like that. But even this quantum physics stuff can go even deeper. That doesn't seem a little more scientific maybe for some people, because sometimes the other things seem a little woo-woo. But so anyways, that Uranus is like anything's possible. How do I make that happen? And just because we came out of that Saturn-Neptune square, means I really want to create a structure so my dreams happen, so I don't feel like everything I do just ends up not really being anything. So that's a great, again, plan for the year that could actually sustain New Year's resolutions, and maybe not even calling them resolutions, but this excitement about possibilities and how to sustain those possibilities and really manifest them. We can talk more about that next month. But anyways, hang in there, and again, lots of love towards yourself and others, and remembering to send blessings to people with all this Uranian stuff that's happening, and remembering that kindness will be a great service to the planet and to your little neighborhood or your little area of the world. So anyways, thank you for listening, and I will see you again next month. Bye for now.